Welcome back to Marvel Media Podcast, where we talk about all things media, especially Marvel. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh and Alex.
And welcome to episode 14 of Marvel Talk. Today we'll be discussing the final episode of Moon Knight, which is currently available to stream on Disney+. So if you haven't done so already, please watch that episode, the finale, before you watch this
Actually, don't watch
video. No, please do, as this will contain spoilers from the episode, so go watch it.
Josh, why did you start off like that? Let's hear.
Oh, I mean, we got to start off with the fact that, once again, we were right about flashbacks. This episode did have some flashbacks in it. It's, when, like, Mark was coming back, it was showing, like, the whole bits and pieces of his life. When, like, Khonshu was talking about, oh, rise up and suit up or whatnot. So, we were right about flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
No, for sure. That's what we said. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we said it last episode. I don't know if we actually did, but we did. And I just want to say that if you're watching any other media about Moon Knight, you're fucking stupid. You should be only watching us. So for the
Facts.
14 views we're getting on this, fucking stay here. Okay?
Facts.
Stay here. All right. Let's hop into this. I already know how Blake feels. So I'll just state little bits and pieces how I feel, and then Alex, I want all your thoughts, okay? Once I'm done, I'm spinning it straight to you, and you have to talk for a solid 5 minutes, okay? Okay? Alex, say okay.
I'll try my best.
That's not an okay. I mean, that was actually more words than just saying okay, but okay. Anyways, so honestly, the whole episode, I think, was fantastic until the Jake part. The fact of it jumped cut again, and we just didn't see the whole Jake fight scene. Everything before that, though, I was like, wow. I mean, the pacing was phenomenal, obviously, but at that point, it was like, it was basically cementing that Moon Knight was my favorite series out of all the other Disney Plus shows. We're getting everything I wanted. The fights were just great. It felt like they actually put the full budget into this episode, so it didn't feel like they're cutting corners. And then the Jake scene happened where we just didn't see how that happened. I was pretty conflicted. It kind of brought me out. I still am conflicted about that. I don't know if it really ruined the episode for me or not, but for me, that whole just part right there just made me stop saying, I don't know how I feel about that. But then following that, though, Layla, hey, fire. Her suit, I mean, if she didn't have the wings, I think the suit was pretty just average. But with the wings, though, I was like, okay. And she was badass in all the fight scenes as well. Khonshu, I thought this was the best Khonshu we got of all the other episodes. I think it was pretty cool how we could see the glimpses in the background of him fighting while Marc and Steven are fighting. What's his name again?
Arthur.
Arrow.
Yeah, Arthur. And the switches between Steven and Marc were flawless in the fight scenes as well. So that's what I mean. Like, it was just, everything was so great. And like, oh wow, we're really getting everything. And then that Jake scene happened where we just didn't get Jake. And I guess, you get to the final bit, the end credit scene where Khonshu's like, oh, his grand plan, which I thought Khonshu was kind of looking like a badass sitting like that.
Yeah,
in a limo.
Facts.
I was like, okay, look at you, Khonshu. Look at you. The whole master plan. His little dick just doing that shit. But I guess that's why, maybe, I don't know, not to just like.
Wait, did you not see the second end credit scene?
What was the second end credit scene?
With Blade and what's his name from Eternals?
There was a second end credit scene?
Yeah, it's talking about the Midnight Suns.
There was nothing.
Got him, idiot.
There
You should have
wasn't.
seen your face. Get wrecked.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I guess, the reason why they didn't show the Jake thing was so that people wouldn't, I don't know,
No,
lead
it
to
was
think
so
that
they
Khonshu's
didn't have
just
to make it
being-
R-rated so Disney could keep it a
They
lower
didn't even have
rating.
to make
That's why they
it
did that.
R-rated fight scene. Like, you just literally see him just beating him up and just don't show the blood. Like, it really is that simple. Like, I don't know. That
What
just
did you
brought
think
me out.
following it? All the different him talking with Arthur, and then Arthur having the blood on his shoes, and then him being like, "Oh,
well, yeah,
I'm a
well,
dip,"
like,
and then
okay,
he dipped, and then he
yeah,
was back at
so
his apartment.
yeah, I mean, following like I said, I got kind of taken out from the Jake scene,
Facts.
and then
Facts.
I was kind of just flabbergasted from that, and then you're just following it. Then when that happened again, where they break from Khonshu, and then now they're brought back to the psych ward, and I'm like, what? What is going on? You're gonna really seriously try to say that none of that was real? And then Marc and Steven once again are still in sync, and then his feet are bleeding, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I was confused by that bit, but I
And then
assume,
he's in his apartment.
yeah, and then he
after
goes
that.
fully back to the beginning of the show, and they're playing the same song, and I'm like, but then there's two fish. I'm like, what? How's there two fish?
Always two there are. No more, no less.
Well, that was a nice little tangent that you went on there. I liked the episode. I mean, like you said, everything up until that point was fire. At first, I also felt the same way, where it was like, okay, I guess that works. I mean, they're trying to do the same thing they did with Steven when Marc was first introduced. And I guess it was meant to be, because they didn't say it was like the last season or is this a limited thing anymore. I guess they had like a whole thing on Twitter where the Marvel
Says
Twitter
season
tweeted
finale,
out.
not series finale. Yeah.
Yeah. They tweeted that out and then they re-edited and then tweeted it out correctly, I guess. So I guess this was meant to be a tease the whole season. So the way I see it, it's like I'm fine with it. I don't really mind. Would I have liked to have seen the fight, like him absolutely obliterate everybody, because that's what it looked like. At least the aftermath was. Yeah, absolutely. But fine, I understand it was their creative choice to do that. Whether that was because they couldn't have that in there because of Disney, or they just chose to hold back for this one season and like fully show them in the second season, or maybe in a movie they were
Yeah,
going to get.
right.
I'm still optimistic. Deadpool is technically under Disney, and they already said that they weren't going to PG-13 it, so I have faith that they'll put him on like a rated R rating. But no, dude, this whole thing was fire. I am optimistic. I'm sorry.
You shouldn't be.
All right, that whole fight with Ammit and Khonshu was fire.
Nah, that was cool.
It was fire. They were basically shit talking each other the entire time while they were doing it. Steven pulling out the fucking moves, that was fire, dude. He's like, you know what? Time to let loose, and he just went loose with those batons. Yeah. I was like, damn, okay, that's the Mr. Knight that everyone kind of wanted. Everything was great. I think the only like little misstep was not showing Jake in his fight, but the end though, that was intriguing. I will say, shout out to Jake for being the first Jake to be Hispanic. Jake Lockley, that's the Spanish speaker. Shout out to him. And then in like his limo that says like Spectre on it, on like the license plate. That was cool. Yeah, and he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot you. You're gonna die. Khonshu being in like a suit similar to the Mr. Knight suit. Fire.
I'm waiting for the thirst traps for that.
Shout out to Khonshu, dude. Khonshu, like, they definitely played the character right. He definitely was. He was basically a scumbag. Let's just put it like that. He was wanted to just get his way the way he wanted to. There's definitely a loophole, and there's a reason why Jake is still there with Khonshu. We just don't know what exactly he's doing. I assume Jake himself
relentless. That's why.
Yeah. He probably like is buddies with Khonshu, and he's like, you know what? They may have revoked their whole vow to be Moon Knight, but I didn't. So I guess that's like the loophole.
Except
like,
in Spanish, please. Give us a translation of that.
Yes, Alex, please. This is where you're supposed to step out.
Yo soy el Moon Knight. There you go.
Facts.
Wow.
Facts. Okay, what were your thoughts on the little after, the after part of him going to Arthur Harrow in the psych ward, and then back to his apartment, and then, you know, we go back to the psych ward where he basically kidnaps him, and we assume he kills Arthur. We're not for sure. We didn't see it, but what are your thoughts on that, Alex?
The way I see it, it was all in his head, and he just kind of came to peace with it. You know, like after being fully resurrected, he's like, all right, you can't control me in my own mind. I am now in control. And that was just kind of like the last little bit, like, you know, that he's at peace with himself, with Steven. And I feel like that was like the visual representation of that. It's just him kind of just self-reflecting. And then the only thing that I didn't get is like, why is he back at his apartment? I mean, I guess Steven technically lives there, but what about Layla? Like, the fuck? You gonna just leave Layla? Like, she's out there being Telret's, you know, avatar. You know, you should probably help her out or something. You should be with her.
Only temporary.
Really?
Yeah, remember when Layla and Tara, when they first had their initial like kind of conversation, she said, Howard said something about like, oh, I'm so excited you're like accepting to be my avatar, and then Layla right after that said temporary, and then Tara was like, yeah, I know.
You never know.
So we don't know. Maybe maybe Layla liked how it was with the powers, and maybe her and Tarat have a non-toxic, you know, relationship, unlike Khonshu. Maybe, you know, Tarat is the goddess of, you know, protection and fertility and stuff, so she could be more of an upfront, you know, actual caring god, loving god, compared to Khonshu, who's very clearly just trying to do what he feels needs to be done. So
yeah.
Oh, I totally skipped over Blake. You got what you wanted. The gods got their asses kicked. And
Yeah.
They deserved it
for them being dumbasses.
Yeah, and I love that they're like, somebody's trying to release Ammit. What? And it's like, oh, really? We didn't just have a conversation? And then Harrow just walks in, and they try to like square up with him. He's like, yeah, you guys are judges. You're not warriors.
They also skipped that bit too.
Just wrecks him, which was great to see. Yeah, my thoughts, like Josh said, I mean, that episode up until the Jake Lockley part was amazing. And then as soon as that happened, I 100% checked out. I didn't even pay attention really to the whole him going to the, you know, psych ward and then back to his. I was completely checked out. Like, this was atrocious. Like, this was not only the big part of this episode, but the whole series has been building up to this battle. And then it was an interesting battle up and, you know, until then. And then all of a sudden we just skip the whole ending. I was just like, that was stupid. That was a waste. I hated that. But yeah, before you said, Layla was amazing. I loved her just absolutely owning Khonshu, because Khonshu was like just trying to be his little snake and be like, oh, I need an avatar. You want to help me? And she's like, no.
He's so like, glad she said
we
no.
Can't do this. We can't do this without anyone, though. And she's just like, no, go find somebody else. Like, I'm not doing it. Not enslaving myself to you. So like, I love that part of her. Her suit was fire. That was a cool moment of her like saving the people, and the one girl was like, "Are you an Egyptian hero?" And she was like, "Yeah." That part was actually pretty cool. But yeah, like you said, up until the Jake Lockley part, this was phenomenal, and then Disney absolutely fumbled it by doing that. I loved the series though up until that, but like I said, that ending 3-4 minutes of the series, I was completely checked out. It was just bad. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
I definitely agree with the Jake bit. I mean, especially because the previews that started at the beginning of the episode was showing all of the Jake teasers that they had throughout the series. So we're like, okay, in my mind, this was confirming we're seeing Jake.
You would think, oh, we did see him though. We saw him.
We got the end credit. And I'm like, okay. All right.
Not to mention, Oscar Isaac was talking about another Moon Knight suit. He was hyping that up. I was waiting for in that fight. In that fight, I was waiting. I was like, when's the switch? And then we're like, oh, this is a different person. It's Jake. But, you know, instead we just got it randomly.
There has to be something that maybe it did genuinely get cut. Because like we said, it was odd that this finale was so short.
I mean, like I said,
Like,
that
think
was
about it,
just,
though. Maybe it did get cut and they changed it to that. It wouldn't be that hard for them to edit it.
I mean, it was confirmed that this episode was only 44 minutes a couple weeks ago. Before episode 5 and 6 came out, like a couple weeks ago, it was confirmed like the length of episode 5 and 4 or 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So this definitely was not like a last second thing, which is just upsetting. The whole climax of the entire series, arguably, and it was cut.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least we got, in my opinion, way more of actual Moon Knight suit in this episode.
Right.
I felt like we actually saw, like I said, the Steven and Mark flawless switching between them, and then the fighting actually looked good, which is something all of the other Marvel series struggled with. It was not one bit was any of that where I'm like, okay, this is just cringy, and the only reason I'm allowing this is because I like the show. But no, it was actual solid fighting styles going on.
Right. Up until that point, it was really good. And like I said, Layla was phenomenal. I loved her.
Oh yeah, dude, and she was great, especially when she came in, flying in. I was like, damn.
I was a little confused on him flying though.
Yeah, right. Where did that come from? He just flies up in the air.
Fly completely. I was like, okay.
I will say the shot of him going like in the moon, it looked like, was pretty sick. But also, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's just flying.
Right. I was
I thought he just had some strong agility.
Right.
Like, oh no, he's just
that
zooting.
part that was definitely new that they added. Yeah. I was kind of like,
so I was like,
don't
all right,
that,
fair enough.
Really?
I'm a little lost, but fair enough.
Right. I was like, okay, cool, I guess. Weird.
I don't know.
I was like, what, couldn't Khonshu just teleport him there? I feel like that could have been fine.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
For some reason, we're going to have Moon Knight can fly now. Cool. Whatever. Yeah, and I wonder, because like you said, the limo had Spectre spelled. I wonder if now Grant, or Steven and Mark, now that they're like on the same page, if they've kind of changed their life to have more of the... In the comics, Stephen Grant is actually like a billionaire. Like we said, he's copied of Batman. I wonder if now Mark and Steven are able to kind of use their... Since they're together, you know, not as split personalities, if they're able to kind of work together and somehow, I don't know what profession it would be, but use it to make more money, and that was his actual limo. And if first we do get another season or something, we'll see those two are actually more wealthy than what we originally saw in the beforehand, how Steven had just that small little flat to himself kind of thing.
I hope so. I think that'd be cool.
It would have made sense that why else would this limo have his last name? You know, if he didn't own it.
True.
So what do you think? Do you guys think that like sets up a season 2 guaranteed with how it ended?
It sets up.
I mean, it definitely sets one up.
Yeah.
Who knows if it happens, but I mean, they definitely have the ability to build off of it.
Despite that moment there, like towards the last 3 minutes of the episode, overall, if I were to just put the entire show together as a whole, it's still my favorite Marvel series so far.
It didn't have Owen Wilson in it, so it can't top Loki for me. So it has Owen Wilson in it. If I have any questions about my sexuality, it is because of Owen Wilson. I am gay for that man, without a doubt.
What did he say?
Oh my god, this guy has talked about Loki.
Obviously, first off, that's just atrocious that you even said that. Obviously, part of it is just prisoner of the moment, as we are just coming off seeing the show, for us to be like, that was the best show, you know? But I feel like a lot of people are gonna kind of echo that, but who knows as time goes on if we'll look back at it and maybe for some reason we think it wasn't as good, but I feel like a lot of people are gonna say this is the best Disney show. Even with the last 3 minutes being not good, in my eyes.
Well, listen, 5 7/8 of the episodes were fire. You can't really say that about any of the other ones, really. Think about it.
Right.
Loki had a bunch of filler. That there was a lot of downtime on some of
Hawkeye
them.
was just ass. I mean, for real.
No.
I mean, it was.
Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier was Not good.
Mid.
I mean, if you really do compare Moon Knight to the other series, it really is just like WandaVision that's the closest to be able to hold up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, I'd give the episode like a. I don't know. For me, it's probably like a 9. Just because, like I said, if you don't stick the landing to me, I'm gonna dock you extra points and I just don't think they stuck the last 3 episodes. The last 3 minutes. If we're talking about how bad the last 3 minutes of it was, then I think there's an issue with it. So I'm gonna say it's like a 9.
Yeah, I'll go about a 9. That post credit scene actually got me kind of hyped. I really want to see where they
If they
go.
build off it, though,
With Blade? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
it was dope. Dane Whitman showed up.
It was wild. For me, I actually give this because comparing it to the other shows, the fact that the fight scenes were actually good, obviously besides the Jake cut part, and I didn't cringe at any moment. For me, it's a 9.7. It would be a perfect 10 if Jake was in it.
Actually fighting,
Wow.
you mean?
Wow.
Huh? Yeah,
Like,
like as
actually
in like
fighting.
if that scene didn't get cut out right there, yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, every other bit of it was great. But it just needed the Jake part, and that's what stopped it from being perfect.
Right, like we said, I mean, they definitely have it built up that if they do either a season 2 where we see him in some other MCU property, we'd be excited, but we don't know for sure what's happening as Oscar Isaac isn't under contract or anything like that, so who knows, but they definitely have it set up. If they need him, they can seamlessly add him in.
One credit that I can give him is, like, sure we didn't see it, but like the aftermath, like where everyone's on the ground just bloody, and you see he has Harrow like just grabbed by the shirt, and he's just like bleeding out of his mouth. That was cool.
No, it wasn't.
Again,
Stop.
I would have liked to see it, but
Do not.
I gotta give it props.
Hey, look at the aftermath. Wasn't
Yeah.
this cool? Oh, wait. You didn't get to see. Sucks.
And it obviously happened super fast too, because Layla was still against the van stuck. So we really missed out on a lot of Moon Knight abilities we haven't seen.
Yep.
One of like the abilities, I think he had like a grappling hook, right?
Yeah, when
like,
he pulled that out, he came like from
Mhm.
almost like he was hidden. I was like, oh, this is going to be a different suit. And then he came out in the same suit. I was like, okay, maybe they share this. Like him, Jake and Mark have the same suit.
Not the same thing, dude.
And then it didn't. And then obviously we had that. I was like, oh, cool. So you confirmed it. You just didn't get to show us any of the cool part of him. Nice. Dope. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely thought the same part too. I was like, okay, they're gonna do the Jake transition right here, because that was kind of like Mark was getting his ass beat a little bit right there. I was like, okay, transition. Then no.
Nope. He did transition. He transitioned to Jake and he bodied everybody.
Yeah.
We assume. We don't know for sure. For all we know, Captain Marvel could have shown up and done it. Captain America could have shown up. We don't know who did it.
Yeah, I mean, if Captain Marvel came in, I mean, then that means my rating dropped. I mean, we don't know for sure. So I guess, hey, my rating now is a 9.1, just in case.
Exactly. We don't know what happened at that
Just
time.
in case. True. You're spinning facts right now. I gotta agree with you.
All we know is he legit blacked out and just fell on the floor, and then all of a sudden somebody else showed up and did it. Blade. It was probably Blade. Tell me I'm wrong. Someone prove me wrong.
Or it was Harry Styles.
who?
Hey, man. No. Just stop. Just
What
stop.
do you mean, dude? Thanos' brother, bro.
Just stop.
You don't know.
All right, I guess that will wrap this up. Unless, do you guys have any closing thoughts here on this episode? The series?
Doctor Strange comes out tomorrow, and I hope it doesn't disappoint, because that will be tough, and it is scaring me just as much as before I watched this finale was scaring me as well. So
It is sad. This is it. This is it for our Moon Knight talks.
mhm.
Feels like it
Yeah.
went by quick. It was a great series up until the last 3 minutes.
It was a good series, and I do hope to see more.
And if you ask me, 3 minutes is a long time to mess up. Just anything, 3 minutes in general is a long time, and people shouldn't
For
complain
real.
about
I
3
mean,
minutes.
people are lucky for 2 minutes, honestly.
Facts.
I
3
mean, 1
minutes is a
minute
really
is also
long
a
time,
lot, dude.
just so everybody knows.
You gotta say it louder for her in the back.
All right, well, like they said, Doctor Strange comes out tomorrow for us, so we'll be seeing that, and hopefully on Friday we will have a spoiler-free review of that, so be on the lookout for that video, and then after that, we'll have a full spoiler-filled one talking about our whole thoughts about Doctor Strange 2. So be on the lookout for that one as well. Make sure to follow along on our social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Or leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on the whole Moon Knight finale as well as the whole series. And if you guys are excited for Doctor Strange 2. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.